Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is the Black Manga Critic here. We are back just discussing some things, you know what I mean? Really getting into just a lot of stuff, just a lot of stuff I kind of wanted to, just kind of get off my chest, talk about. Because I've been thinking about this stuff for a while, and it didn't make too much sense just in terms of like where my sort of like life is going, the trajectory of it all, and everything like that. It didn't make any sense to just kind of be like, I'm just gonna kind of keep doing what I'm doing, keep sort of not making certain changes, even as I speak about certain things that bother me and that I think are just like flat out wrong and should not continue to happen and things like that. It didn't make any sense for me to just kind of just keep trudging along, So I just want to talk about a lot of that stuff. Again, get some stuff off my chest. Talk about like pretty big changes that I'm going to be making to the channel. Some things they're gonna be hard changes, right? Like they're gonna be pretty tough. You know what I mean? They're gonna be tough changes, and like changes are hard. You know what I mean? Like when you make changes to certain things, it's tough. But I think for me, if I want to kind of keep moving and keep growing and keep, sort of maintaining like certain bits of like integrity and stuff like that, and being an ally in certain ways and stuff like that, like I got to make these changes. You know what I mean? I have to. And I guess I'm trying to think of like which is the first one I want to start with. I guess the first one that I really want to start off with before I sort of get into like a lot of like everything else I'm going to be talking about is the reading of like scans and like pirated scans and stuff like that. That's something I'm at a place where like I just can't do it anymore. And this is me. This is not me saying you and you and you and you cannot read these. I'm not saying that. I'm like, yo, if you make a particular decision to do a set thing, like I am not your parent. Like I'm not gonna I'm not gonna helicopter around and be like, hey, why are you doing? No. That's not necessarily my job, but what I will say is that I think if you have the ability, if you have the means to actually not read like pirated scans and like buy a subscription to something and buy like the manga for something and stuff like that, then that's something that you should do. You know what I mean? If you have those options. If you do not have those options, then you don't have the options, right? This is to me, this is like a really kind of basic thing. And I say this is basic because, again, I'm just really plainly sort of put it out there, right? If you have those options, right? If you have the funds, the means, right, to procure manga legally, right, and it's not really an issue, then just do the thing, right? Otherwise, that's on you, right? And like whether or not you want to, whether or not you want to sort of admit to yourself that like the stuff that you're doing is wrong. Or even if you want to try and move forward and grow and be like, hey, let me not do these wrong things anymore, then it's that's on you. I'm not again, I don't have the ability to teleport to your location and to firmly scold you for doing bad particular things, right? I can't. But what I can do, at least for me, for myself, is say, hey, I can't read these scans anymore. Like they actually hurt this right, like they actually hurt manga. They actually hurt these companies that are trying to put this stuff out there for readers. That's I'm sorry. These are just facts. Like these facts are out there. There are literally hundreds of articles out there on this stuff. Not just sort of regular sort of articles that are posted on blogs and magazines, stuff like that, but scholarly sources that talk about this stuff. You know what I mean? Books. So for me, it's I'm in a particular situation where I can buy these manga if they are available. I can have a subscription to Viz, right? I can do these things. So if I can do these things and it's not really anything off of my back, then why wouldn't I do that? You know what I mean? What's the legitimate ethical moral sort of positives of not doing those things? You know what I mean? What are the positives there? I don't know. But that's a big change that I'm making to the channel. That's the first thing. So like there's certain manga that like you're just not going to see on this channel anymore, right? Like, and the biggest one is probably Kingdom. You're just not going to see until I actually learn Japanese or have someone like read the manga to me, you know what I mean? Like in copies, like you're just not going to see Kingdom readathons. And while a lot of people would be like, man, no Kingdom readathons, like for me, you don't understand how like that hurts. I can't read Kingdom. Like I legitimately, like for me, this is something that I put on myself, right? Like I can't read pirated Kingdom scans. I can't do it, right? I gotta legit like make a plan, say, hey, you know, can I learn Japanese? Is it within my ability to learn Japanese? Yes, it is. It is within my ability, right? I'm not talking about y'all out there. No, I'm talking about, is it within my ability to learn this language to a set level where I can read, like where I can actually read like certain manga? Is it? Yeah. Will it take quite some time? Obviously, right? But the thing that for me, the reason why I feel like I'm able to do this is, one, Kingdom is not the only manga that exists, right? And this is for me. Again, I'm not talking about y'all and how much you're fans of Kingdom. No, not talking about that. What I'm saying is, for me, this makes sense because I read so many other manga, you know what I mean, that I love either just as much as or more so than Kingdom. So and they're available in English, and I'm lucky in that way. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like if I'm not reading Kingdom anymore, will I miss it? Sure, but it doesn't mean that like I'm gonna allow my feelings about Kingdom missing in my life, right, to affect reading me reading other manga. Like, why would I do that? You know what I mean? That'd be really weird. Like to be like, oh, I can't read this one manga, so I'm not going to read these other hundreds of manga. No, I'm not going to do that. So, you know what I mean? So that's a big thing. So there are other manga that like Yona. Luckily, there are a bunch of volumes of Yona that are out there that exist. So I'm still going to be doing Yona readathons. It just means, right, that I got to buy these volumes. I got to buy the volumes for Yona. Because Yona does not come out in Weekly Shonen Jump magazines, right? Like, so I gotta buy these volumes for Yona, right? Or right, like I'm pretty sure I have access to like separate chapters on Viz. But even if I don't, I can still buy those volumes that are available in English. And there are quite a few volumes that are available in English. So there are certain readathons that I've already sort of started where I already have access. Like I have access to the actual like legitimate like legal translations of these particular things, and I can do that. I have that option. I'm not saying, yo, you, all of y'all like do that. I'm not saying every single person like do that. I'm saying that this is stuff that I'm going to do, and this is the choice that I am making, right? So I can do that. I'm well within my rights to do that. So that's a big thing. This is a huge, 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 huge change. Okay, obviously, because it means that like there are certain manga where like, hey, I'm gonna be waiting for the next volume to come out, you know, on whatever website, you know what I mean, and to buy the volume so that I can actually react to these volumes and stuff like that, you know, and that's fine with me because I kind of been doing that with like, you know, with like comics and stuff like that. I've been doing that with comic books. I've been waiting for that comic books. I don't illegally read comic books because it's much harder to like in some ways get access to those texts. You know, I've been like buying trades for comic books and single issues, you know, when it's like something that I really, 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 really want to read like at any given moment, you know? So I would say that's the biggest change, right? So Viz, like, so you don't really have much to worry about when it comes to Viz. If you're watching the channel, if you like my reaction / initial thoughts to like Weekly Shonen Jump titles, you don't really have anything to worry about because I generally wait till Monday for that, and I have a Viz subscription, so it's not a big deal. I would say Haikyuu is a little different because Haikyuu doesn't come out like the chapters don't come out every Monday, right? They don't. So I have to wait 4 volumes to come out, which is fine because I'm gonna wait. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay. I have no idea what's really going on with Haikyuu and that particular match with Karasuno. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna wait because that's something that I can do. You know what I mean? It's well within my ability to wait for these manga volumes to come out. That's something that I can do. You know, and if you can do it too, then like, why not? Again, right? If you can do it too, why not? Notice the phrasing that I'm using. If you can do it too, why not, right? That means if you're not able to do it, if you're just like legit, like, hey, I'm sorry, like I just don't have the option. I'm not talking about like you, right? I'm talking about, like, in that sense, I'm talking about people that have the ability to do these things and nothing's stopping them from doing it. They do it. They just do it, right? What was the other thing I wanted to talk about? Yeah. Oh, so like obviously that gets in the way of having like certain conversations, right? Like if I'm talking about, if I'm talking about, you know what I mean? Like if I'm talking about like, hey, what was I gonna say? Having certain conversations and things like that, early conversations, like that stuff that's hard. That stuff that's really, really hard to do. It's tough to do. And it's already been hard. Already been hard for me to like, say, hey, look at all these conversations that are going on about My Hero and One Piece and other manga on Fridays and on Saturdays and on Sundays. Like that's tough. Like missing those conversations, like that's hard. What's going on, Shigama? What's going on, Trent Money? What's going on, Dribble Kenshin? Like, what's up? And like again, things are cool. You know what I mean? Like things are great. Like this is the thing, right? And in some ways, like it's easier for me to make this decision because things are going pretty well in my life in terms of like where I'm moving forward and everything like that. I got into a great master's program for teaching, right? For elementary school teaching. So like that's a big thing for me. That's a big step for me. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna be like taking over for a class in the fall, and that's gonna be dope for like for a few months. Like that's gonna be really, really awesome. So I get a chance to like legit like teach like kids for a few months and track their progress and do all that stuff and watch them grow. It's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope. You know what I mean? And like eventually that that could lead to like a legit like full-time job and everything. And that's important for me because this is what I want to do. I want to teach. Like I think I've always generally like wanted to teach, but I didn't realize how much like I love teaching like students like from like K through 8. You know what I mean? Like it's great. And I'm really happy and like everything's going really well. You know what I mean? So in some ways it's easier for me to make these decisions because things are going well, right? I understand that. So I'm not saying like, hey, every single person has to change right now at this second. I'm not saying that. But I think there are just certain things that just like, I can't like say, hey, what are you doing if I'm not doing the things that I'm admonishing people about? You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make any sense. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like if I'm if I'm doing the things that I'm admonishing people for doing, then why am I saying, hey, what are you doing? Why am I doing that? You know what I mean? So it's just like stuff's hard, and like the funny thing is like I could just see the dislikes. The dislikes are just like, and that's like you expect that. You know what I mean? Like I had conversations with people and it was like, hey, like if this is something that you're prepared for, then okay. And I was like, I'm very much so prepared for this because this is something that I do to connect for people. It's something I do to connect to people that are reading manga. This is not something that I do for money. I don't do this for money. I think if you do this for money, you're in a different space. And I've talked about this before in the past. I've talked about this. I think a lot of y'all know, right? I've like distinctly said like, hey, like, if you're doing this for money, like, one, I get that it's significantly harder, right? And when I say significantly harder, that's not a throwaway word. I mean, like it's like, it's tough. It's tough. If you have a YouTube channel and you're making money off of like reacting to manga and reviewing manga and coming up with theories about those manga and stuff like that, and having discussions about those manga, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard for you to be like, okay, I'm gonna shift, especially if it's Weekly Shonen Jump. If you're Weekly Shonen Jump, any Weekly Shonen Jump title, it's gonna be really, really tough for you to shift to shift gears if you so decide to do that. That's hard. I get it. I get it. You know what I mean? Look at this. This is just a small like example. I got 5 likes and 10 dislikes. You know what I mean? Like I got more dislikes and I got like 50% more like dislikes than I have likes. You know what I mean? Like it's like rough. It's like, well, not even 50, probably like 100, right? Like I got double, right? Like I got 100% like more. You know what I mean? Like it's like, yo. You know, and this is just me and my small channel. Imagine what would happen if a 100,000 subscription channel did something that I would like I was doing right now. Imagine just like the catastrophic loss of income. Like it would legit be like catastrophic, right? Initially, it would be, and that's tough. Like I can't tell people, yo, do that. What I can do is I can say like, hey, like you have like there are definitely ways that you can sort of set it up, and you can slowly do that, where you can slowly move right from and gradually move from doing a particular thing on a set day to doing a particular thing on another day. You can do that. Like, yo, imagine, y'all. Imagine. That's what I'm saying, right? Like, look at what's going on here. Just in terms of my likes and dislikes. And then you imagine 100,000 subscriber channel, a 200, 300, 4, 5, 1 million. Imagine what would happen if they made that change and they did it quickly. Like the loss of income would be like. So I understand that if that's your main source of income, you got to maintain your main source of income. Like that's something that you have to do. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that you can't shift. It doesn't mean that you can't gradually shift from doing certain things and on like one day to doing certain things on another day. You can do it. I think it's very much so possible. And I think like, the sort of like idea that, sort of people put forth is like saying, hey, well, scans are always going to exist. Pirating is always going to exist. I'm like, yeah, we know that. I never said pirating is not going to exist. Like that's another thing that just sort of bothers me. Like, why do people consistently bring up points into arguments that the other side already understands? We know, I know pirating is always going to exist. I'm not dumb. I'm not naive or anything like that. I already know, but the hope is that it gets to such a negligible place that it doesn't harm that it doesn't harm content creators. You know what I mean? And yeah, obviously, like you do hope that like pirating just like stops in general. But I think like a lot of things need to change, right? And these are conversations that, yes, I think I've had, other people have made videos about. But I think at least for my channel, this is stuff that's really important. So that's why, like, when I started this channel, it was easy for me to be like, hey, I'm gonna join this conversation, I'm gonna join that conversation, I'm gonna hop in, I'm gonna, these conversations are dope. But if it means that I'm reading pirated scans and that I'm doing things that I can't like agree with or roll with, then I gotta stop doing those things. And it's not like I can't ever have conversations or anything like that. You can always have conversations. You can always start your own conversations. It's something I say, right? It's like just because people are having their conversations on Friday and Saturday and Sunday doesn't mean that you can't have your conversations on Tuesday. You can't start, you can't start a channel and you can't have these streams and you can't start a conversation on a Tuesday, or a Wednesday or a Thursday or whatever, or a Monday. Right? Doesn't mean that you can't do that. I mean, obviously, people have different lives and things like that. It's like, it's tough. It's tough. And that's what I'm telling people. I'm like, I totally get it. Yo, Rogers Base, what's up? It is hard. I would never tell a content creator that has like that has like a main source of income, right? On YouTube that covers weekly Shonen Jump content to just like that shift gears and switch the days and do all those things. Do you know what? Like, yo, I would never do that. I would never do that because like it's just so it's such an ignorant thing to ask someone to do. So if there are people that are asking you, like Roger, like Joy Boy, Tekken, Kingu, you know what I mean? For Never, Sawyer, like if there are people that are saying, hey, you got to do it right now. I'm like, no, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Okay. Like you cannot legitimately expect people to shift gears that quickly. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to them. And it shouldn't make any sense to you. So that's how I feel about it. But again, this is about me and what I need to do and how I feel like I need to make certain moves. You know what I mean? So it's like if I can't, like, while I can't join a conversation on a Friday, talking about One Piece and talking about all those things, talking about certain things, like that, like it's okay because I can still contact these people. I can still talk to these people, on a Monday, on a Tuesday, on a Wednesday, on a Thursday. Like I can make that effort to make that time and to have certain conversations, and I think that's something that I'm going to try to be better about, sort of have discussion videos and stuff like that, because I haven't really done that at all. You know, this like I'm like you expect that stuff, Dragonite, my guy. Like you expect that. You know what I mean? You expect that when you do something that deviates from what right? Like when you do something that deviates from what your subscriber base like is accustomed to and used to and all of that, like that's what happens. It's what happens, right? If you ever checked out one of Roger's videos or one of Joby's videos or one of Dustin's videos or one of anybody's videos, right? Like any of us, right? And it's a shift, the dislikes they just come. They come, you know, and like they can't handle it. They can't handle it, you know? Right. It's like if you changed over tomorrow, exactly, a whole new group of YouTubers would, right? They'd pick it up, they do it. Those subscribers, like a lot of those subscribers would move. That's not to say that subscribers wouldn't like stay with you and maintain like that fandom and everything like that. But what Roger's saying is like, yo, this is it. A lot of this is very much so about like economics and supply and demand and all of those things. Like it's extremely important. So there is a way to like, right? There's a way to do that gradually. And again, it's tough, but like, I'm not going to tell people, yo, switch tomorrow, you know? Yeah. You know, just like if you include like Viz, like if you talk about Viz, if you do those things, that's like a gradual move that you can make that'll help people say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna read the Viz on Monday. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that stuff on Monday. I'm gonna do those things. Like there are gradual things that you can do to sort of help, you know, sort of make that shift. But if you don't do any of those things, if you're just like, I'm just making videos and stuff, you know, it's like, you know, then it's like, then you just maintain that. You maintain then you maintain the problem. You know, so it's one of those tough kind of like discussions. Kind of it's hard. It's hard. You know, and again, you know, when you talk about stuff like this, you're going to get dislikes. You're going to get people that are like, no, I don't want to do that. So the next thing that I really wanted to talk about, and that's something I have to do too. I have to like change it. I have to like put the Viz stuff in my description box. I don't have a lot there. So I have to start changing that because most of the stuff that I do is streams. I generally do like live streams, like period, because my schedule it doesn't allow me to really like sit and make videos and do those things like I did at the beginning when I wasn't like really, you know, working. I had a lot more time, you know, I had a lot more unstructured time. But like, yo, one thing that I think a lot of people are really awesome about that. Roger's one of those people that's really great about like putting, and Joy Boy and certain people are like amazing at putting like, you know, One Piece in there, like the hashtag One Piece 907 or hashtag just One Piece period in their Twitter post and everything like that, in their tweets. And it's awesome because like I can mute those things, right? I can mute those things. And it doesn't mean, oh man, you know, forget Rod, forget, you know, no. The reason why I'm muting them is because like, again, I want to wait until Monday. I'm hyped about One Piece. I love One Piece. Even though I criticize things, doesn't mean that I don't love them. Doesn't mean that I don't love like One Piece. I love One Piece. Like yo, that first half of One Piece is godly. Okay, it is, and it doesn't mean that like right, just because I'm criticizing certain things doesn't mean that I don't love the manga, right? So if I'm muting like these conversations and I'm muting this stuff, it's because I want to be just as hyped as these other people were prior to coming into the chapter, right? So like I don't want to see any of that stuff on Saturday. I don't want to see any of that stuff on Sunday. And a way that I can do it, right? And a way that I can do that is by muting certain things, right? And that's an option. Some people are on Twitter, they don't even know that they can mute conversations and they can mute notifications and stuff. They have no clue that they can do that. And when I was first on Twitter, like which wasn't that long ago, I didn't know that I could do that. So, you know, I was like, man, what am I going to do? You know, but now it's like, yeah, right. It's like, and again, Roger's one of those people, like he's great about the thumbnails aren't spoilers. The thumbnails don't spoil. The titles don't spoil. You know what I mean? It's like you can do that. And especially if you're a bigger channel, you can do that. And like, that shouldn't be an issue. I understand if you want like cool thumbnails and things like that. I get that. But at the same time, it's like, come on, you know? So that's kind of how I feel about it. Like you can mute conversations, you can mute things in a way, and you can mention that like, oh, this chapter was amazing, this chapter was hype, this chapter was lit, this chapter was live. you can do all that stuff and not spoil a single thing about the chapter. You can still push that hype and still push that, great, that One Piece greatness and the Goda stuff and all of that, and not spoil the chapter. And I think, like, for me, it's like when I get like responses that are like, oh, well, nobody's going to do that. I'm like, well, for one, people are doing that, and two, you're not doing that, right? It's like there are people that are big YouTubers that are doing that, like Roger, they're doing that. And then there are just people who were just like, I do not care. They just don't care. You know what I mean? That's what that is. It's not like, oh, stop trying to make me feel bad. Da, da, da. I'm like, no, no one can necessarily, like, people can make you feel bad, but like that comes from a like very like internal sort of like place. Like you have like, it's like I might do a thing or I might say a thing, but it's like it's up to you to like have like those particular ways of feeling, like, you know what I mean? Like it's like you feel guilty. Like I don't like just kind of place guilt there. That's not how that works. You know what I mean? Like, why are you feeling guilty? How can you alleviate that guilt? So it's stuff like that where people come to me and they're like, oh, man, nobody's gonna do that. Nobody's gonna put the hashtag on. Nobody's gonna, not post panels and da-da-da, whatever. I'm like, no, people do that all the time. The second I muted certain words, the second I muted One Piece and I muted certain things, I didn't get anything from Joy Boy. I didn't get anything from Roger. I didn't get anything from certain people, Dustin, certain people. I didn't get anything from any of them. But then there were some people, I saw it was just panels, the last panel of a One Piece chapter. I'm like, that's like the worst way to spoil somebody to me. To not only have a comment in your tweet about about the context of the panel, but to have the last panel of One Piece. That's like the panel for One Piece. Those are the panels. Why would you do that, right? And not think about and not think about certain people. You know what I mean? It's like, come on. Like, and it's like, I have every right to be annoyed about that and to be upset about that and to say, hey, it's a really simple fix. Just put hashtag One Piece in your tweet. That's like 9 characters, yo. That's 9 characters. That takes what? Hashtag One Piece. If I type in hashtag One Piece right now, 1, 2, 3, 4. That took maybe like 6 or 7 seconds. That's it. Like, no. So don't tell me, oh, people don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. This is, it's energy. Da, da, da. That took me 7 seconds. When I'm teaching kids and I'm in the classrooms and everything like that, and I count down, kids are like, they move like photons, yo. They move so fast, like, because they're like, yo, like they can do that, and they're like 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, like they're young kids and they can do that, and they move incredibly fast. Don't tell me you're like 23, 18, 17. 24, in the 30s, like, and you can't spend 7 seconds to add hashtag One Piece to your tweet. You can't do that. You can't do that. You know what I mean? Nah, dribble. You didn't spoil me. You didn't spoil me. If you put hashtag One Piece in your tweet, then like I didn't see it. You didn't spoil me, dribble. You got it. That's what I'm talking about. It's like, it's a very basic thing to do. It's not like I'm saying, construct your thumbnails in such a way, because I know thumbnails take, they take a little bit of work. Sometimes they take a lot of work if they're like, very like distinct, and you have artists doing that for you and stuff like that. Sometimes you're paying for thumbnails. So I totally understand that. But it's like there are people that legit will put out panels. They put out the panel for a chapter, and then boom, and no hashtag, no without any warning. And that's what I'm talking about, right? Again, like one of my tweets, I was like, empathy is huge, because empathy allows you to say, I think I can understand how that other person would feel if I did that set thing, right? And that there is, and because there is a very simple solution to avoiding spoiling that other person, I should probably do that, because I'd like to be, like a good person and like not ruin that person's, vibe in terms of how they feel about the chapter and and stuff like that. Like it is a very straightforward thing. Again, empathy is huge. Every time I teach a class, I always mention empathy, because kids, you have people that are teaching kids, they never mention empathy at all. It's not even a concept that comes into their minds necessarily, you know, but it's like, it's huge. It's huge. You know, it's one of the things that like really like allow like us to have to have communities, you know, and for us to come together as people and to like, you know, effect change. You know what I mean? Because of how we feel about, because of not only how we feel about other people, but because we understand how people feel, right? Like it's a big thing. So that's kind of how I feel about it. You know, and people just they don't get it. They don't get it, and I think a lot of people don't want to get it, and it's just sad. It's just really sad to me. You know, a lot of people don't want to get it. They just don't. And I think if you tried to get it, maybe you'd be a little better in that sense. You know, because I think that, to me, that's a very simple fix. It's a really simple fix. You know, but hashtag. You know, let me just read some of these stuff. Yeah, it's like, you know, like, yo, the thumbnail spoilers, the titles, you know, it's like, and it's like, I'm not gonna go and like have like a one-on-one conversation with someone unless they like would like me to. You know, so I totally understand it. That's why I don't tell people, yo, if you don't have access to it, you're still like a scummy like human being. No, you know, for me, it's like, again, when I started this stream, I was like, I know that I have the ability to try to learn Japanese, right? Try to learn to read and listen to Japanese, to do those things, right? I have the ability to buy certain volumes. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna be right back. One of my cats is doing something they should not be doing. All right, we back. Okay. You know, but like, yeah, it's just something like, it was just like something I had to get off my chest. You know what I mean? And it's rough. Like, I think, again, there are just things that you can very quickly do to alleviate those things. People are already doing it. People are already doing it. You know what I mean? And I think like people will tell me, oh well, if I don't do those things, I won't grow. I won't grow as a channel. I won't da da da. I'm like, you know, I think you'll be fine. I think like if you have like it like you generally you grow because of like your content, because of whatever it is that you're talking about, because of your personality, because of what you bring to your videos. Like that's why you grow. You know, like for me, like when I started, like I didn't grow because like I was like posting scans and stuff, and I was spoiling people, and I was doing all that stuff. I didn't grow up because of that. I grew because people like the stuff that I was talking about, you know, in the video. You know what I mean? And and my Twitter presence and stuff like that. Like that's why I grew. You know, and people like wanted to talk to me, and I wanted to talk to them, and I wanted to have discussions with them about manga and some anime and stuff. You know what I mean? And other stuff. So that's how kind of how I feel about it. I don't know. You know, again, it's like it might, but it's also like it really is about the content. It's like, and it's really about networking. This is another thing, right? Like for me, one thing that helps you exponentially grow, I think at the beginnings, and like for me, like what I have, like 300 and something, you know, subs. It's like networking is probably one of the biggest things, and I think it's really like understated. And I think a lot of channels would be like, oh, you know, if I just react, this is what's happening. This will happen, and whatever. But it's like there are certain spaces where, yeah, if you're just a reaction channel and you react to certain things, you will get a ton of subs just for reacting to top 10 fights, this person versus that person, reacting to this big, thing that happened, reacting to these TV shows. You know what I mean? Like, that's a thing, and I understand that. If you're in that space, then like, it's whatever. You don't necessarily have to network at all. I don't think. But when I think in this space, in this particular niche, and when it comes to manga, especially manga, like networking is huge. Networking is huge. You know what I mean? And it's like that's what got me. Like for me, like when I started, like I was just content. I was just putting stuff out, putting out reviews. And then, again, like people started coming through and it was awesome and it was great. And it's still awesome, right? And then I did a collab with Dustin. Dustin was like the first I did a collab with Dustin Reacts and like with Dustin, and like that was like the thing. That was like the thing that like, and then I became a part of this community, right? The BDA and all this, right? And then I was in a stream with Rago, and like the stuff just kind of kept happening, right? And then I've done collabs with a bunch of people, and it's like networking helps, and like that's where a lot of like my subs came from, like networking and like keep continuously continuing to put out content and stuff like that. I always tell people like networking is a thing, all right? It's a big thing, especially in this community with manga and stuff like that. Dragonite, it is a shame that they haven't picked up Kimetsu no Yaiba because that manga's dope. And yeah, it's getting an anime adaptation, I believe. But it's tough. It's tough. And that's not to say like I'm saying like you can put out certain things and like create certain thumbnails and and you don't have to spoil anybody. You can you can blur, like some people like will blur the panel that they're using or something like that to the point where you can't really tell what's going on in that panel. But that allure, right? That helps. That's something that like draws people in. They're like, what panel did he pick? You know what I mean? It's like stuff like that. That's like really kind of cool, kind of, it's like a psychological sort of tool, right? That you use to kind of like promote like interest and stuff. And it's dope. It's dope. And people do that. And like, that's totally legitimate. And that's great. So for me, it's like, I understand that like people want to use panels, they want to do all these things and everything. And like, that's how you sort of get clicks and stuff. But to sort of maintain people, like, I don't think that's how you maintain them. I think you maintain them by your content. Like people don't stay on Dustin's channel or Roger's channel or King of Lightning's channel or Sunpatch's channel or Madison's channel or my channel or something like that because like my thumbnails, I don't even use thumbnails. Like just egregiously, like I just egregiously do not use thumbnails, right? And a big part of that is because like it's not even so much that I don't have the time, but like, well, yeah, like a lot of my focus is on like my relationship and my work and my teaching and all this other stuff that I'm doing, and everything else. Like it's hard to like find a time to like I don't even watch anime, bruh. I love anime, but I don't watch anime because I just legitimately do not have like the time to just kind of like sit. Like I have the time to do this stream because this is something that I want to do because this is work that I do and it's work and it's pleasure, right? It's like work that I do and I consider it work, but it's also like awesome work that I all love to do, But like I don't watch anime and I don't make thumbnails because like time is a big thing. Of course I'll watch Dragonite's like, but you'll watch the Neverland anime, right? I'm like, of course I'm gonna watch that anime. Of course. There are certain things that like I will always make time for. Like if I'm like really gonna make time for it. Like the thumbnails, like nobody's complained that I don't make thumbnails. Nobody's complained about. But if people are like, yo, you should probably like start making some thumbnails, then I would totally get on those thumbnails. I'd be like, okay, like I'll try to do them. I'll try to figure something out. I'll do those stuff, And it's like, I gotta like, 20 minutes every episode, bro. People do not have 20. Some people do not have 20 minutes within like their sort of within work, right? It's like work blocks, right? Like relationship, seeing family. If that's something that you do, YouTube. If you also do YouTube, there's so much that goes into that. And it's tough. It's so tough. So for me, I would love to make thumbnails, but I don't. I don't because I just I can stream and it comes out and nobody's like really be like, I don't want to see that. You know, I could probably work harder on it. And that's something I think I want to do in the future. But for right now, it's just like, I can't, you know, I can't. I like my focus has to be on reading the content, reading the manga, you know, for my YouTube channels, talking to people and, you know, and stuff like that. You know, I'm gonna be going into a Masters of Arts in Teaching program, like, you know, very soon, like within, you know, very soon. I'm gonna be doing like specialized high school, you know, verbal, you know, prep and argumentative essay prep and vocab prep and grammar prep for, you know, 7th and 8th grade students. Like, this is like stuff that I'm going to be doing like for all of July into August. Like, it's time. You know, it's like there's time. Like, it's like I don't have the time to just be like, all right, you know what, I'm gonna sit and like for 3 hours and like watch anime. I can't. I actually can't do that unless unless I just don't want to get sleep. And I'm not at an age where I can just do that anymore. Like, maybe if I was 21, I probably could, but I'm 29 going on 30. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be 30 in September. So like I like there's just a difference. I don't care who you are. There's just a difference in the time and how much sleep you need and how long you can sort of stay awake without just being totally exhausted. You know? So it's tough. You know? So it's tough. So that's the thing. You know what I mean? And I again, this is stuff that I think is like really straightforward to do. You know, there's certain things that I can't do. And the one I think they're like the one thing that's like really, really tough is like Kingdom. Like I can't read it because like there are Kingdom manga and I've always wanted to learn Japanese, but I just, you know, always made excuses for why I shouldn't or why I'm just gonna be like, you know what, nah, it's all right. I'm just gonna have scans. I don't ever have to learn Japanese. And I'm like, but I actually really want to learn Japanese. Like I really want to buy these volumes because they're all available in Japanese. Like, well, I mean, at least for me, I'm talking about me, because I know there are people that just, they can't even buy that. They don't even have access to buying like foreign like goods, right? So I totally understand that, you know, and again, this is about me and like what I have access to and what I can do, you know, so that's kind of how I feel about it. But, you know, again, I can't read Kingdom. I know other people are going to be reading Kingdom, everything like that. That's fine. Like, I'm not, you know, it's like, you know, that's what you're going to do. You know, I can't like consistently and like, you know, be responsible for the decisions that you make as a person. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not your parent. I ain't no judge. You know what I mean? So nah. But what I can do is hold myself accountable in certain ways and just be like, yo, because I've been buying manga volumes and stuff like that. Give me 1 sec. I'm gonna be right back. There's yeah, give me 1 sec. I'm gonna be right back. What's going on, y'all? But it's just like, look, like it's like I got these in today, and I took my time in getting these. Right? Like, Princess Jellyfish is just like a dope manga, you know, that I've heard about and that I've always wanted to read, and like now, like I own like the first volume. You know what I mean? And it's really beautiful. And then like what, like 12 there's like some extras, and they're like 12, like they call them episodes, but they're, you know, like chapters, but they're like episodes, you know what I mean? And like I'm looking forward to reading these. Like one volume, volume 2, You know what I mean? And it's like dope, really beautiful stuff. And I've heard about it. I've seen like kids, like when I like sub that, you see like kids like reading Princess Jellyfish, and I was like, that's how I know it's good. That's how I know it's like interesting. When you see kids reading certain manga, that's like a barometer. Like kids are like a barometer of like what is like so engrossing that they will just read it while they're in school. Like they'd be like, I don't care if I get in trouble. I don't care if I get in trouble with the teacher. I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna read this while I'm in school. You know what I mean? And that was like one of the manga. Princess Jellyfish is like one of the manga. You know, another one, Paradise Kiss. Paradise Kiss Volume 1 by Ayazawa, who's the author of Nana, which is like a really popular. Oh yeah, my students definitely read manga. They definitely read manga. Like, yo, they definitely read manga. And that's why I tell people like, people like, Volume 2, another beautiful. All right. They definitely read. Paradise Kiss is dope. Like I'm looking forward to checking that out. That looks like a really dope. Like they both look like really dope stories, with great characters and stuff like that. But these students definitely read manga. Like my goodness. And the thing is that like if you aren't like a teacher that's like into any of that stuff or aware of that stuff, like you will never know that your students are really into that, because a lot of them like won't talk about it. You know, there are like kids that are reading like manga that are way above their age, way above their age group. You know, and the thing is like, there are things that I just can't talk about. You know what I mean? So I can't really talk about like stuff like that with them or anything. But what I can do is acknowledge their interests, and I can be like, oh, you read manga? You know, like there are things that I can do. You know, there are things that I can do. There are things that I can sort of talk about. But once it gets into a certain territory, I'm like, I'm walking away, I'm teaching, I'm doing this stuff, like I'm doing these things, like, no. You know what I mean? There's just certain things that you can't talk about, you know, otherwise you won't get fired, right? But I will say that, like, of course, like kids read manga. I think it'd be weird if you were elementary or middle school or high school teacher and you weren't aware of the fact that kids are into manga or comics or anything like that. But, you know, particularly manga, because I think generally teachers are aware of comics, and there's been like a very like massive kind of explosion in terms of comics as sort of an academic. Sorry, one of my cats is meowing. You know, so it's just like manga is a little different, you know, because it hasn't been acknowledged in the same way in the same circles. So, you know, you have kids that don't really talk about it. I remember this one kid. You know, this one kid was like, oh man, like this kid loves anime. Like he loves anime. And when he found out that like that was something that like, you know, was cool to be into and everything like that. And I was like, yo, like when I just acknowledging that, like the look on his face, man, you know what I mean? It's like, it's just dope when they find out that the stuff that they're into is like legitimate and it's okay to be into that stuff. And like, you don't have to hide that stuff, you know? It's just cool. It's just cool, you know? But yeah, students definitely read manga. Like they read manga, they watch anime, they read comics, they do so much. And it's even more likely if they are like privileged, like in terms of like financially. If they're like privileged financially, they're definitely like, not only are they reading manga and watching anime or comics, but like they're doing that legally. Like it's much more likely that they legally like have like Crunchyroll or Verve or any of these like sites or Netflix or Hulu, or all of them, and they have manga volumes. It's much more likely, you know. And a lot of their parents like will actually like get that for them. They just be like, oh, okay, you know, like because there's like at once there's a disconnect in what they're reading, but the parents are also aware that they're reading them. It's weird, you know. It's like how many of their parents are like aware that like they're like reading like Food Wars? You know, how many of the like elementary school parents are aware that like they're reading Food Wars? You know, but they're still buying them Food Wars manga. That stuff is clearly not for like someone that's like 9. You know what I mean? So it's like stuff like that where that like it's really like fascinating. I think that's definitely the word. Fascinating is the word. You know, and you just see that stuff and you're like, wow. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I can't talk about certain stuff. But what I will say is that kids are much more mature in certain ways than people like give them credit for. And again, if you're gonna just be a good person, I think in general, not just a teacher, but just a good person in general, like you have to be aware of that, and you have to treat kids like they're not dumb, like they matter, like they're processing things in a way that you might not think they are. So you can't like there are things that yes, obviously you can't talk about because that's just like what the rules are, but it doesn't mean that you can't point them towards like certain people, like a guidance counselor or certain resources or whatever that do certain things, you know. And it's tough, the shipping time be rough. Shipping time be rough. I'm not gonna lie about that. You know what I mean? Like it's like when you like buying physical like manga is like you really gotta like again, even when you have the means and it's not like anything really off your back and stuff like that, you still like, all right, if I do this and do I really need to like do express shipping? Like, do I really need to do that? Do I really need to pay that extra bit of money for that? Do I really need like, you know what I mean? Can I just like drive or hop on public transportation to like the nearest store or something like that to do that? And again, this is like from my experience because I know there are people that can't do any of those things, So this is just like in that experience, right? Like you even in that sort of privileged sort of sense, you think about those things. You think about, do I really want to spend that extra bit of money? Do I really want to, even make that trip to go buy these physical copies when I can just sit here and just click, 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 click. You know what I mean? Yeah, and Barnes and Noble, like in New York City, if you live in Queens, in New York, there are no Barnes and Nobles. There used to be like two of them. There used to be two. No, yeah, there used to be two Barnes and Nobles, and now there are none of them. There's just no bookstores in like Queens. They're a lot in Long Island, obviously, but in Queens it's like one little bookstore, two tiny bookstores, and one of them sells like maybe a few manga, maybe a little bit, but nothing that like was on the level of like what Barnes and Noble was doing. You know what I mean? So there are levels to it, and again, I don't ever tell people like, yo, I would never like get on people for doing stuff because like when I was reading scans and doing all that stuff, like I legit like could not afford to just like consistently buy volumes. Because of shipping, and I couldn't afford Amazon Prime at a point. And I was 20, I couldn't afford Amazon Prime. I couldn't afford, those certain shipping costs. Like I gotta pay these bills. I gotta help people pay these bills. I gotta pay for school. Like, maybe there's one semester where financial aid is not doing what it's supposed to be doing. So I gotta pay for that semester. Like you know what I mean? So it's tough. But I do think that you at once you have to think about again, that's why empathy is important, because you have to be able to understand how people in different situations feel. So because of empathy, I'm able to be like, I know that like there are people out there that simply do not have access to manga, period. Period. Although right, just legally, right? They just don't. And I understand, like, I can envision and try to feel like how devastating that must be, as a fan of manga, as someone that who manga is like extremely important to who they are and how they identify as a person and how they move through their realities. You know what I mean? So I would never go and be like, nah, you trash because you reading this stuff illegally, you trash. You know what I mean? I wouldn't do that, but like I can also understand like the person that is like, oh, it is what it is, it's whatever. I'm like I can get where those feelings come from and what those people aren't trying to acknowledge about what they're doing and how they may feel about what they're doing and everything like that. Because like I was that person. You know what I mean? So again, empathy, y'all. Empathy. All right. And it's tough. It's like, yeah, and again, yo, Shugamis, right? It's like, yeah, yo, I legit like couldn't really support manga in the way that I wanted to. Now I can, and that's what I choose to do. But that's me, right? Again, I'm not going, I like, but if there are people that are in sort of a similar situation in terms of access, financial, support, stuff like that, right? If you're there, then it's like, come on, you know? But a lot of people like, no, but I want things now. Now. Me. Now. You know what I mean? Like that's what that is, right? They may not say it and they may not even like verbalize it in that way. But behind all of that, all of those like excuses and other excuses and excuse, right? For people that are like me, that have that access, right? That have the financial stuff, right? That have certain things, right? They have the ability to do that comfortably, but they choose not to, right? That's what's behind that. Behind that is like me. Now. You know what I mean? That it's just selfishness, and impatience. Which I get. The impatience I get more than the selfish, right? Like I get like I understand it because like I'm impatient too, like when it comes to stuff. But again, those are the people that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about people that like legit do not have access because of certain laws, right? Foreign policy and stuff like that. Nope. I totally get that. Again, because of empathy. And I used to play consoles. Again, it's just a time thing. Like I can't sit and like play JRPGs and games on even on like a handheld. I just can't do it because like there's always stuff that I have to be doing. Like again, YouTube is important, and like I even let YouTube kind of slack a bit. So I like consoles. Like I was thinking about buying a video game, and I was like, do I really have the time to play this game? Like I legit walked into, you know what I mean? Like I legit walked into a video game store yesterday. I was with my fiance. We were celebrating our 4-year anniversary. You know what I mean? And we walked into a video game store, and I was like, maybe I'll buy a game. Maybe I'll buy a game right now because like this might be dope. You know what I mean? And I was like, do I have the time to play this game? Like, can I really like shift gears like and go from teaching and setting up lesson plans and doing all the stuff to playing this game right here? Like, yo. And it made me sad because I was like, probably not, because I know who I am and I know what kind of person I am. Like I know who I am. And for me, it's already difficult to multitask. And people generally can't, but what people can do is efficiently shift from one task to the next, right? People can like sort of quickly shift from one task to the next in a certain set order. And that's generally what people do, right? But for me, I have a hard time doing that. Like I legit cannot have like conversation and be focused on something else. I can't, because I have to pick one. I legit have to pick one. So I can't do that. So that's why for me, it's like if I play a video game, like I'm focused on the video game. That's just it. I'm just focused on the video game. And anything else that's happening in sort of like the peer review, I have to like super actively like go out of my way to like pull myself out of like the video game world and to back into like this reality and like all the other stuff that's going on and everything like that, right? And by the time I do that, hours might have passed, like 2 hours might have passed, or something like that. And I'm like, man, you know what I could have done in those 2 hours? I could have done this, I could have done that, I could have done that. Like, so that's why for me, it's like, there's just certain things, right? It's like, my relationship, extremely important to me. Work, extremely important to me. School is extremely important to me. Maintaining household, extremely important to me. YouTube, extremely important to me. So it's like relate, and other relationships, right? Like, so all of those things, come on. I'm super hyped for tomorrow's MHA episode, My Hero episode. That's gonna be extremely hyped. I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to that. That game looks really interesting. The story of Nier Automate. That looks really interesting, Shiganma. I would check it out. But yeah, it's just time. A lot of it's just time. You know, it's just time. Yeah, that's generally, that's like a lot of what I wanted to talk about. Um, just kind of bringing stuff up. Yo, but that episode is gonna be super hype. That MHA, that My Hero episode is gonna be crazy hype. It's gonna be so hype, y'all. I really, and yeah, we've been looking forward to it. We've been reading the manga, y'all. We've been reading the manga, yo. And even if you just been watching the anime, you've been looking forward to it, right? It's not like, oh, I was watching My Hero Academia and I never once thought about All for One versus All Might. Like, really, you were at this point, like you got to a particular point in season 3, and you never once thought about All for Might, All for One versus All Might. Maybe you did, and maybe you didn't, and that, even that's fine. But I think that, like, the hype, like, it doesn't matter whether you're an anime watcher or a manga reader. It's still incredibly hype. You know what I mean? Because I remember when I was reading it and I was at that point, it was incredibly hype. I remember that. I was like, yo. Yeah, yo, in the manga though, that entrance, it was just like, this is so good. And you could love it more because like if you knew that Horikoshi, right? Or if you know that, right, that if you knew that Horikoshi was like a fan of, like, a lot of the stuff I read, like Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, and like is generally just like huge, like nerd, pop culture nerd, like, in that sense, then it's even better because you know that that's where he's pulling that stuff from. And the what's the word I'm looking for? The illusions are even that more clear, and potent in a way. So it's just super dope. It's just super dope, and the way that certain things happen and certain reveals happen and stuff like that, just incredibly dope, because they just, again, those things are set up in such a way that they just call, they allude to other stories and other narratives and other stuff like that, and other characters from those outside stories and narratives. It's just really dope. It's just really dope. Like, All for One is such a Vader-like character. Such a Vader character. And on top of, like, other characters. Just really, really great. Right? He's kind of like a mixture in a lot of ways. He's got like a mixture. He's kind of like a mixture of Vader and Darth Sidious. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, it's not just one sort of character. It's like multiple characters from the same franchise. So it's really, really cool. It's really cool. But yeah. Really dope stuff. I'm looking forward to that episode. That's gonna be great. That's gonna be great. That Nakamura, that's gonna be cool. Anime for the animator, great. So yeah, they're just gonna be, like, again, they're just gonna be, they're gonna be definitely be some shifts. There's just gonna be some shifts for the channel, and that's like the thing. That's like a decision that I just made. Like, that's what that's what I want to do. And I feel like I can do that. And I think that, like, the only thing that really disappears is, in terms of like super consistent stuff, is like Kingdom. Then it's like, then okay, because everything else I can pretty much, like, buy. I can buy Good Night Poon Poon. I can buy Bride Story. I can buy of the Dawn. I can buy all this other stuff that I have here. Princess Jellyfish and Paradise Kiss and A Silent Voice and My Brother's Husband and the sequel to My Lesbian Experience with Loneliness. I can buy those things. So cool. What's going on, Shadi? What's going on? But again, like, just kind of going back to, like, the stuff that I was talking about at the beginning. It's just like, certain things. Yo, Seven Deadly Sins. Even see, that's what I'm. Yo, no, I can't keep up because like those are scans. At some point, I will buy the, like at some point I will buy like start buying Seven Deadly Sins like volumes. I don't know when that's gonna happen, but I think I will. I'll probably just like stop reading it for now. Which again is like there are so many texts that I have no problem waiting for, because it's like the thing. That's one of the best things about just reading in general, and like whether you read novels, poetry, short stories, flash fiction, manga, comic books. Like there are so many different titles, But I don't know, like if like Seven Deadly like also has like an official, if Seven Deadly Sins has an official like thing that I can check out, then I'll check that out. Then I'll subscribe to that too. Like if Kodansha has like digital like stuff and they put out certain things consistently on a Monday, I will support that too. No, that's what I do. I do mute them. But what I'm saying is like for me, it's like it's much easier to mute. It's much easier to mute the hashtag than it is to mute people, because when you're following a lot of people, you don't want to consistently, okay, I gotta mute this person and 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 this person. Like, and it's just like I don't want to have to do that. I could, but it would take a bit of time. Because a lot of times there are a ton of people that are posting stuff, and like if you had to consistently go through every person that you follow and figure out who's posting One Piece stuff, like you might sit there for like 10 minutes, and like some people don't have 10 minutes, Oh, Orphe, I had to mute you, y'all. Oh, Naya, I had to mute you. I had to mute both of you. I had to, because it was just ridiculous. I was like, whoa, and Orphe more so than Naya, because Orphe also like spoils my hero. I was like, man, I gotta move both of y'all. Yeah, I pretty much just mute as many like words as I think are like related to whatever's going on at a certain point. Like if it's like the Reverie, I gotta mute Reverie, I gotta mute hashtag One Piece, I gotta mute just One Piece, I gotta mute One Piece 907, I gotta mute, you know what I mean? Like those, and that's generally what I mute. And then I gotta mute Celestial Dragons, just certain things that I definitely will mute, because I know people can forget to put the hashtag. I know people are not going to be infallible, right? I understand that, It was way too much, and I'm like, Orphe, you cool, but you gotta chill with that, right? It's like put the stuff up, but just add the hashtag. If you just add the hashtag, that immediately. Oh yeah, that's true. I should mute chapter. Yeah, let me do that. Yeah, that's smart. Thanks for that tip, Joe. You know what I mean? And it's tough. Yeah. Oh, yo. And it's like I would like, that's my goal of mine, to be able to just buy like Japanese volumes. Like there's a manga. Again, I told people about it. The World of Kai, Piano no Mori. It's like my favorite manga ever. And it's just, again, this is a personal thing. This is not me saying it is the best in terms of narrative and motifs and character. Like, no, that's a different kind of like discussion, right? But just personally, it matters the most. Piano no Mori like matters the most in terms of like a manga. It matters the most to me. And so when I say like it's for me, it's my favorite manga of all time. Like it's not about whether it does all these things better than all the manga that I've read. It's more like, what has it done that's so potent for me in terms of my growth and stuff like that. But it's like that's only in Japanese. There are no like official like English like volumes. So I gotta learn Japanese, y'all. If I want to read those manga volumes, gotta learn some Japanese, y'all. And that's something I have to like really, really get into, and I gotta do. But I'm like, yo, you know what I mean? Orphe spoiled like the like someone, Orphe spoiled like something. Naya spoiled something, and I'm just like, yo, and I think like again, when you understand like the love that people have for certain things, and that they and that one of the reasons for that was like, right, and that one of the reasons for that is like the hype that comes like weekly for reading that particular thing. Then it's like, you know what? Well, you know, and it made me upset. Like it legit made me angry. You know what I mean? And I try not to like do that too often, if I can help it, because like I know myself. I know like, you know, I'm like, nah, you know. And it's like this is cool, and I get why, but it's like again, just set the tag. You know, just set the tag. If you set the tag, you'll be fine. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's kind of just how I'm feeling about it. Probably going to end the stream now because I gotta end the stream now. I gotta, you know, yeah, I gotta mute chat. Yo, for real though, I gotta mute chapter. Like I really do. You know, I gotta look into if Kodansha or let me see who publishes Seven Deadly Sins. Is it Kodansha? Kodansha? I think it is. Yeah, it is Kodansha. Good. You know, so like if they have that, if they have the access on like Mondays, then I probably would start to cover it. Cause like it's in a like Seven Deadly Sins is in a phenomenal place. Again, I'm not spoiling nothing because I don't know where people are in terms of Seven Deadly Sins, if they're just anime watchers or manga readers. I don't know. But I think that's something that I want to start covering because it's in a really good place. I think there are some things that it's doing that like I've been just kind of waiting for from it. And like when you like, I think a lot of people were reading Seven Deadly Sins at the beginning, and they were just kind of like, you know, this is some cool stuff, and like there's some hype here, but where's the, you know? And I think you got a lot of that actually from Bam as a character. I think Bam was kind of like the sort of heart in a lot of ways of Seven Deadly Sins at the beginning, and then it kind of it just started doing more. So it wasn't just Bam that was like, you know, really interesting and as a character, and in terms of like his narrative and stuff like that, right? In terms of his past and everything. You know, it was like all these other characters we started getting more about these other characters and everything, right? King as well, right? So like, so getting more and more and more, and now we have all these characters who are doing so many things, who have such interesting pasts, just great people. And their like interactions with each other, you know, Seven Deadly Sins is doing some great stuff. You know, yeah. Like I think there were a lot of people that were like Meliodas. I felt the same way. I was kind of like something about him just kind of bugged me, but I think where we are now, you kind of get it and it makes sense, and you're like, oh, that's why he seems kind of cardboardy in a way. You know what I mean? Like when you see like certain characters that are just like, I don't know, you kind of boring to me. It's like, yeah, you're hype in terms of the combat, but outside of the combat, you kind of cardboardy. You know what I mean? You kind of Ichigo-y. You know, like that's kind of how I felt about Meliodas a little bit. Not to say he was exactly Ichigo, but like he was he was getting that territory, and it was kind of dangerous for a while. And then you're like, yo, this dude's been through some stuff. Like, and it makes sense why he is who he is. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see that. I'm like, that actually makes sense. That's some good writing. I get it. You know, that's cool. You know, oh, this ain't even Ichigo shade, Dragonite. That's just like, yo, 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 Shine. I'm sorry. Ichigo cardboard though. He's so cardboard, man. That's not to say there weren't any good parts about Bleach. I'm just like, Ichigo boring. Like, Ichigo is like the least interesting character in the entirety of Bleach. Like, the most interesting character, like Kon was more interesting than Ichigo. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, in the beginning, I was like, yo, we got a Kon episode? We got a Kon sighting? All right, I'm gonna laugh. You know what I mean? It was like even at that point when I was watching Bleach and I was like in high school and stuff like that, it was like, you got a Kon sighting? Like, you know what I mean? And like Ichigo, I'm just like, okay, so, all right, Ichigo, okay. Ichigo gonna slash. He's gonna slash this person, or he's gonna yell about the thing that we already know is wrong. And then he's going to get stronger and rinse, repeat. And I think like the thing that bothered me was that there were some things that I liked that Kubo was sort of pointing towards. You know what I mean? Where like Grimmjow was sort of like alluding to the fact that Ichigo and Kenpachi as well and other characters are like, do you not realize that you love battles and you love fighting, and like that's something that's like intrinsic to who you are as a person, and that a big part of why you love fighting for your friends and saving people is because you love to fight. And like I thought that was something that I thought he was going to go to sort of deal with and maybe explore, and then that never really happened. You know, so you know what I mean? So it's stuff like that. You know what I mean? That's kind of how it feels to me. There was someone had mentioned that like it was called Bleach because Bleach like cleans things and like soul weepers purify souls or whatever. And I think that was something that I heard, you know. But and it was like, oh, that's interesting. That was interesting. You know, but I don't know. I feel like maybe that was just like a title for whatever reason. But I always feel like sometimes titles are just kind of like there to sort of be interesting and to promote thought, as opposed to like actually having like a concrete idea behind them. But you know, Bleach, there were things about Bleach that were cool, but like there were a lot of things I was like, I don't know. Yeah, like the Aranka arc could have been fantastic, and then it just kind of went to this weird place where it was like, you know, Espada, you know, like it was sad because I was like, yo, like I want to see more like from the Espada. I want to like Bleach just was not really at least to me, Bleach just was not really like a story about like, it wasn't like a character story really. It was more like, okay, here are these things. There were like maybe like a few characters that I thought were really well done, and then that was it. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just kind of how I felt about it. But yeah, Soul Society was phenomenal. I still feel like that Aizen heel turn was one of the best things, maybe one of the best heel turns that I've ever seen. Because I think there were probably people that probably like, you know, were sort of like, but I don't know anybody that was like, I definitively called that from the jump. I don't know anybody that did that. If you did, good for you. Yeah, you know, yeah. Nah, I have not read One Piece 907. I don't. You know me. I only read up to I only read on Mondays, right? But like that was wild when he just like pow, just stabbed Momo like through the chest. I was like, this person's insane. Like this is wild. Like what? You know what I mean? Like what is happening here? why you do that? Why you do this? Aizen, why you do this? I was so confused. And then once like the shock sort of like, like you wash the shock off, you were like, okay, this is not a good person. Right? Clearly this is not a good person. There's a reason why this person is doing that, and let's see what happens. It was wild. It was wild. He was great. And I think the reason why Aizen was so great is because he was so consistent in pushing forward towards this plan that he had. Never once regretted anything. And like he was a villain. He was he was a villain that you loved to just despise, but you also were like, this guy's so cool. He's so cool. You know what I mean? Like he had both of those things. The whole Superman thing. I have the glasses, Clark Kent, and then hair flick, slick back, the little Superman curl, no glasses. You know what I mean? Like it was cool. It was cool. The Fullbringer arc was like meh. I didn't like the Fullbringer arc. But that's just me. Some people did like it. But I was kind of like, what's going on? And then the whole thing with Weekly Shonen Jump and Kubo and everything like that. There was a lot of stuff there. I don't necessarily even blame Kubo for the stuff that happened, but it's just like as like the story, you're just kind of like, it made you a little sad. It made you, like some people made them extremely upset, and they were like, what's going on here? But I think for me it was just like, I was just sad. I was really saddened by it. Because I knew I knew the potential that like that arc had and where it could go with Ichigo's sort of character, and especially Uryu. Like I thought Ichigo's like his character. I was really interested in seeing where the arc would have went with when it came to him. That to me was like very, very, very interesting. I think another thing that I really loved that showcased that Kubo could do really cool things if he put the effort into the story and the narratives and the character development and stuff like that. When it was revealed that Unohana was the first Kenpachi, I was like, bruh. I was like, who could have predicted that? Nobody. If anybody came up to me and it was like, yo, I predicted it. Look what I wrote down. No, you did not. Stop that. Were there any real hints at all in Bleach that Unohana was Kenpachi before Kenpachi? I don't think so. Maybe some people have been like, yeah, this little get out of here, man. Yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just being salty because I didn't figure it out or something. Hey, it could be that. But I think like I'd have to look into that. Unohana? Retsu Unohana? Kenpachi? Who predicted that? Who? Come on. Like there were certain things that just like were not predictable. And I think that in some ways, Kubo was way less predictable than Oda sometimes. Like where there was just this thing, and I was like, there was just no hints. It was just, but it was still cool. It was still interesting, and it still like made sense in certain ways. Like Yodoroshi is a cat, and you're like, wait. Like you knew that Yodoroshi was like definitely strong. Even when she was a cat, you were like, oh, this person definitely has like a ton of skill and knows too much. And it's clear, you know what I mean? Like it was clear that like Yodoroshi was someone powerful, but you weren't necessarily sure about like who she was and everything like that. And what I like is like I like both. I like stories that kind of leave breadcrumbs in a really interesting and satisfying way. And on the flip side, stories that don't do that at all and just here's this reveal. I'm gonna write it so that it's awesome and really cool and it makes sense and you're gonna love. Like I like both of those sides. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it was wild, and I think a lot. And I think what was really clever was like the way that shifted shifted Yoroshi's voice, right? So the voice actor, I'm pretty sure, right? Like so that it was like, you know, sounded like it sounded like it was like a dude, you know. At least like that's like the right, like that's like what you get, like right when you hear those sort of voices, you're like, oh, that's probably a guy or something. And then I was like, nope, which is cool, which is great. I thought it was like fantastic, phenomenal actually. Naruto, yeah, I can't. Don't get me started on that. Too many things about Naruto. I think like there are things like about Naruto that I really, really like, you know, and then it just went to this place. I feel like at some point Kishimoto was just like, I want to be done. I feel like I was on his side. He was just like, I just want to be done, yo. That's kind of how I feel about it, you know. And I think a lot of people will try to be like, oh well, you know, in this space, you know, Sasuke is like a great father and da 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 da. I'm like, dude's trash. Like he's a trash father. I'm sorry. You know, he trash. You know what I mean? Like Goku, you know, Goku trash. Like, who is a father that loves their children, but says, you know what, I'm gonna stay dead. I think I'm done. I could come back. I know that I can. Wouldn't be anything off my back or anybody else's, but I think I'm gonna stay dead. You know, I got my kid. I got my wife, but I'm gonna stay dead because I kind of just want to stay over here and battle people and have a good time. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, and people will defend him as a father to the death. But I'm sorry, once he did that, I was like, no, no, no. I was just like, no, 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 no. And then they just ruined, because Gohan was just like, Dad is so cool. I understand why he left me. He's just such a great. I'm like, man, come on. Come on. Like, no. And like Jing is like, I love Jing. I have like an extreme love-hate relationship with Jing. You know, because Jing is also like, nah, I'm just not the dad type, man. I already know I got him. Nah, I gotta leave my boy here. It's just not for me. The parenting life ain't for me. This ain't for me. I gotta go be a hunter right here. I gotta go be a hunter right quick. You know, I'm gonna end the stream soon because I do have stuff that I gotta do. You know, but just very quickly. You know, it's just like, you know, I just didn't want to be a dad. You know, yeah, I just want to be a dad. I just want to go and have some fun. You know, hunt, do all those things. I'm like, nah, you're a trash father. Like maybe he's a phenomenal hunter. Nobody's saying he's a garbage hunter. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he's a trash father. And I think Jing realizes that he's a trash father, right? It's like there are people that are like, nah, you know, he's not trash. But I'm like, Jing's said that he's trash as a father. Like he said, like, yo. So what are we even talking about? You know, like that's why, like, whenever I get into conversations like that with people, I just get confused because I'm like, Jing said he trash. We saying he trash. Why are you saying he not trash? Like, for that, like, I don't understand it. You know. You know, so stuff like that's just funny to me. You know what I mean? Stuff like that is just funny to me. It just makes me laugh. Yeah. so it's just kind of funny. Whenever I get into conversations with people like that, and you just try to figure out like why are they even trying to make these arguments? You know? Yo, Ichigo's dad. I'm trying to think of like I don't know how we feel about Ichigo's dad. That might be something that we should have like a discussion about. We should have a discussion about anime dads, because anime dads, like when it comes to shonen, anime dads tend to be god awful. And I don't even know what that's about. I feel like there should be like, I feel like there's got to be like a scholarly article about that, about like shonen fathers and why they're so terrible and why they're so absent and what's that about, and what does that say about or does it say something about certain like Japanese customs and stuff like that? Does it? I don't know. I'm not gonna say that it does. But I think it's just like, but even if we don't even go there, I think it's just interesting to talk about like, why are shonen fathers so terrible? And yeah, Ichigo's dad's funny, but like he was there like all the time. He was just chilling. He had a business, like he was taking care of his kids, he's doing all this stuff. He protecting them, like yeah, right, like like that, like it's for the main character for like their growth or whatever. But I'm like, it happens too often. I think that we need to like shift gears a bit. And I will say that like we also do have to think about the people, right? Like the characters that have figures, that have like parental figures in their lives, and that those parental figures are just as important. So when they are pronounced and relevant and everything like that, that to me is like great. And yeah, mom. So sometimes, yeah. I will say though, I think it does say something about like Japan and like how important like the independence of children is in that culture, and like kids like just leaving the house to like do stuff when they're like 6, just like walking to school on their own, and like taking public transportation and doing stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like that's stuff that they do all the time. So I think like it also kind of nods. It's also sort of a nod to that. But those kids still have like figures in their lives like that help them and that like promote their growth and care about them and everything like that. So there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff to that. I'm gonna end the stream now because I have to end the stream now. You only have a dad in Gen 3, yo. That's true. Pokemon, yo. I don't know what that's about. It's some weird stuff, y'all. It's some weird stuff, right? But particularly in shonen. It's like it's a little weird. I don't know what that's. I don't know what that's about. I really don't. We got to figure that out. All right. So I'm gonna end the stream, okay? Because I gotta end the stream, okay? I don't got time. I do not got time. No more time. But this is dope. The conversations were great. I got to say what I wanted to say at the beginning, and then we had these great conversations about like shonen dads and why they just seem to be generally trash. You know what I mean? Like, what's going on there? I think like if Dribble Kendrick, like if you're doing a conversation about that, if you're doing a video, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that video. Even if it's going to be specifically about like Goku and what's going on with him as a character and stuff like that, I'm still looking forward to that video. All right. So I'll definitely like retweet it and everything, like when you're done with it. But I gotta get out of here. I got stuff to do with my fiance. It's gonna be dope. Great day. I'm gonna keep trying to avoid them spoilers. All right. You know what I mean? Bob and weave. You know what I mean? Gotta do all that stuff. Okay. Thank y'all for coming through. This is the dope stream. I'm gonna try to have another stream. I'm gonna try to have another stream at some point. Probably not today, but maybe tomorrow. Try to have another stream tomorrow where we just, this might be something that we talk about. We might actually have a stream where like, we talk about shonen dads. Maybe you could do that. But if Dribble's if you're doing a video on that, then like, do the video. I'm looking forward to that. All right. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, evil has been defeated. And it's like, look. You're gonna have dislikes. You're gonna have stuff like that. You're gonna have, it's gonna happen. It is what it is. It's nothing off my back. But yeah, like again, channel changes. It's a real thing. But I think what it'll allow me to do is to read different types of manga and do stuff. Oh, because I said I wasn't covering certain things and that I wasn't going to do certain things. And I understand it. It's like I get it. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Like it doesn't really bother me. All right, I'm the Black Manga Critic, y'all. Shout out to all y'all who came out. Y'all are dope. Y'all are dope. All right. This is a great conversation. I had an awesome time. I'm gonna have an even better day because of it. Y'all matter. You know what I mean? Like for real. When I get the chance to stream and to talk to y'all and do all this stuff, like it makes it colors the day in like this really like awesome like light, I guess. Like I don't know how to describe it, but it's really dope. It's really cool. So I'm gonna have an even better day because of the stream. All right. So thank y'all for that. I'm trying to have another stream maybe Saturday or Sunday. Sunday I'm having a stream on like mental health, and there are gonna be a few people in that stream talking with me about that. It's gonna get pretty personal, I think, as it should. But also like if people don't want to mention certain things, they don't have to. But if any of you are interested in that for that Sunday stream, I don't know what time it's gonna be yet. I gotta talk with my guy Ash about it. But if any of you are interested in that stream, feel free to let me know if you want to be in that stream to talk and everything. It's gonna be dope. All right. I'm the Black Manga Critic, y'all. Thank y'all for coming through, and I'm out.